Welcome back. Insights, episode 2. I think I'm later than yesterday. As you see, found my stand and I figured out how to take this mic off the thing I've been having. So this actually works a lot. This is a lot better. I can actually lean back a little bit. Now my vision isn't the best, so might not be able to see the computer, but that's okay. But today's topics, now again, thank you for joining. Today's topics, probably quicker than yesterday, maybe. Have Jimmy Butler, what his interest is, kind of talk about what his plans are, probably look at some of his numbers while I'm talking about it. I saw the Suns released Nasir Little, that'll be quick. And EJ Liddell, and then LeBron has some bold claims. So we'll get into it. Start off with Jimmy Butler. He has interest in the Brooklyn Nets. Now, from what I saw earlier, he liked the post from the Brooklyn Nets. Earlier in the year, Jimmy Butler wanted another contract. Pat Riley told him no. So this might be just Jimmy's way in saying, hey, there's other options on the table. Does he want to go to the Brooklyn Nets? No, he does not want to go to Brooklyn Nets. Not the team that they currently have. But he does want to get paid. If we take a look at Jimmy, I am going to like this. I can move this thing around. And the thing was, when I was talking, just the height thing, I wasn't really able to move it around like I wanted to. And then I figured out there were screws on this part right here that I could take off. And once I figured that out, that part was easy. All right, Jimmy Butler. Let's look at his contract on Spotrac and get an idea what he's making now, because I want to say he has 1 year left on his deal. This 24, 25. Yeah, this is the last year of his deal. He has a player option next year for $52 million, and that's his age 36 season. So I'm pretty sure Pat Riley, that's why he's not extended him. I'm pretty sure he's like, Jimmy, you can go somewhere else. He'll probably have to take it depends. The NBA money, TV money is coming in, and that's why players' contracts are increasing so much. So I'm not sure, because the $52 million is a high number, but you see Steph Curry just got a $62 million extension a few days ago. So it's not as bad as you think. Of course, it's a lot of money, $50 million. Anybody, it's a lot of money. But next thing you know, the contract's going to be $70 million, $80 million. And then you're going to have that $100 million. You're going to have somebody sign for $500 million for 5 years. You're going to be wondering, how did this happen? But Jimmy, I know he's playing the game. Do I think the Heat would trade him? No, not currently. I know the Heat, they like to win. You have Tyler Hero coming back. You have Bam, who played well in the Olympics. You have Jaime Jaquez. Who else do you really have on that team that of any significance, for real? This is what I'm going to have to get used to, this being in my face all the time. The Heat roster. Okay, you have Tyler Hero, Bam, Jovic, he's young, Rozier. I forgot Rozier was on the team. They picked up Khalil Ware. Patty Mills went to the Heat? No, I thought he went to Utah. He went to Utah. I'm looking at it better now. Jimmy still has this crazy picture on here. Alec Burks is on the Heat. Didn't realize. Josh Christopher, young guy. Tyler, Jaime, Kevin Love's still there. Oh, I guess Patty Mills is on the Heat. Yeah, he's right there. Josh Richardson, Duncan Robinson's still there. Yeah, Terry Rozier. So I don't think Jimmy would want to necessarily go to the Nets right now, because right off the top of my head, Cam Thomas is the only person I can think of that can actually score the ball. I forgot Ben Simmons was there. He didn't play enough. You have Cam Johnson. He probably needs to get traded too, because he should have some value just as a shooter. Trendon Watford. I didn't realize he came over from Portland. Schroeder's over there. You're not getting much for Schroeder. Cam. But are these the guys you really want to play with? Especially when you've been making the playoffs, you know they're going to be the bottom of the East, no matter how good you are. And does Jimmy want to play with Ben Simmons again? I seriously doubt it. So I think Jimmy's just doing this. He'll probably, like any team that shows any interest in him, for trying to force the Miami Heat's hand. But it is Miami, so they can get players if they want. Now, I was listening to, what podcast was it? I think it was Jeff Teague's, and he was mentioning who was he talking to? I think he was talking to Bibby, because they had a recent episode with Mike, and he was talking about how Mike Bibby was talking how the body fat check is real. Now, for somebody like Jimmy, that's fine, but depending on what type of player you want, and especially some of the star players, yeah, they might not necessarily want to do that, even though it gets you in great shape. But still, Miami Heat players still get hurt from time to time. So, you'll get free agents there, but not as many as you would think. But I don't think, honestly, Jimmy, where is somewhere Jimmy could go? If we really think about the landscape of the NBA right now, he would probably go somewhere where he's a second option, but for $50 million, that makes the money almost impossible with some teams' cap situations. So I see why he would go to the Nets. Nets would pay him, just because if you look at their roster, there are no max guys on this roster. Nothing even close to a max guy that's on this roster. But Jimmy, I don't see Jimmy wanting to be in a place that he's going to be losing constantly. So either he's going to take that player option at 36, or he's going to sign for like a James Harden level deal where he signs for $35 a year. James signed for 2 years. I think Jimmy can get a little bit more than that. But at the same time, Jimmy will be 36 next year. So, but the way players are taking care of their bodies, similar to, it's like an NFL quarterback for the top guys anyway. Because if you see how Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, LeBron, how they're moving around here, seems like the guys that typically seem to stay in shape, they seem to last a little bit longer. The leaner guys anyway, other than LeBron. LeBron's just an anomaly in itself. But I don't know. I don't think Jimmy will go anywhere. I think he likes being in Miami. I just think it's a Pat Riley thing. And I don't think Pat Riley wants to pay Jimmy for 3 more years, and then he'll be 39 and pay him $150 million. So I think if Pat did, it would probably be team options. I don't even know if it'd be player options. But I'm interested to see, because he shot good from 3 last year. I want to say he shot 41% from 3. Clearly the best in his career. But does anybody think he's going to do that again? If he does, he proves me wrong. He proves a lot of people wrong. But I'm going to take the under on shooting 40% from 3. Getting to the basket, that's his specialty. But how long do you last doing that? I think because he has been injured quite a bit the past couple of years. Let's look at his games played to get an idea. Over here, Jimmy, I put James Butler. All right, Jimmy Butler. I just want to see games played. Let's go. It's funny, his picture, because he knows he doesn't wear his hair like that. So the past, let's just say 4 years. Well, let's just use all the years he's been in Miami. He played 60 games last year, 64 games the year before, 57, 52, 58. So he's never played over 64 games. So he's missing at least 20 games a season, if not 30 in some instances. So, that's when they say the best ability is availability. But I think when the time comes to money and contracts, that's when it gets really serious. And I'm pretty sure being in Chicago and in Minnesota with Tibbs probably didn't help that situation. But he's still a high level player, but I don't think he's going. He's not. He plays hard. When he gets to the playoffs, he's going to give you, well, anytime, he's going to give you all he has. But the thing is, if you're going to miss that many games, I'm not going to want to pay you the max. Just thinking as a business owner, as a player, of course, I'm bringing fans to your arena. If I'm not here, you're not selling tickets. So I get all that. I truly do as a player. But thinking from a business aspect, if I'm paying you, I want you to be out there all 82. And I know that's not possible, but I do want you to be the minimum threshold of 65. So I definitely want you to be there for the 65, and I want to make the playoffs. And if I'm Pat Riley, thinking about Pat Riley, he wants to win championships. Yeah, they've been to the championship 2 times after the LeBron era, and lost both. One against LeBron, actually. So I don't know. I don't know if Pat blows it all up. But then what do you do with Spo? Because I don't see. Well, Spo's just a good coach, to be honest with you. Some of those Heat teams he's had in the past were absolutely god awful, and they still make the playoffs or come right next to the playoff line. So, yeah, I don't think if I had to take a bet, Jimmy won't be there by trade deadline next year. Not this. Well, I say next year. Next season. So the 2025-2026 season, Jimmy Butler won't be there by February. He'll be gone. He'll probably either go to a contender or he'll go to a actually, let's make it a little bit more hot takey than that. Jimmy Butler won't be with the Heat after this season. Because if he signs that extension, they'll probably either he'll sign the extension or they'll do a sign and trade. So after this season, Jimmy Butler won't play for the Heat anymore. I'm going to go ahead and lock that in. All right, next on the docket. For some reason I put the Phoenix Suns released Nasir Little and EJ Liddell. I don't know who they could be targeting, to be honest with you. The Suns are they're interesting because who did they pick up? Did they pick up Tyus Jones? I always mess up the brothers. I think Tyus Jones is the one that went to the Suns. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's Tyus Jones that went to the Suns. So they pick up Tyus Jones, but we still have a problem on that starting lineup. Because with that starting lineup, you have Kevin Durant. And then now you have, I can't remember if Royce O'Neal's on that team, but they have another guy. They need another glue. Basically, they need a glue guy. And then you have the big man. I can't think of his name. All I can think of is him getting dunked on, and then Draymond trying to knock him out. But man, I don't know why he was with the Nuggets. Why can't I think of his name? I don't want to look him up either. I'll think of his name. I'll think of his name later. But you have that starting lineup. Let's just talk about the 3 main players because that's what everybody talks about. Do you put the ball in the hand of Bradley Beal? Or do the Suns put the hand in, and they have Bud now, Atlanta Hawks old coach, champion with the Bucks. Do you keep the ball in Devin Booker's hand? My thing is, Bradley Beal is going to have to play the Ray Allen role for this team for it to work. But also the other problem with this team, they need a guard. They need a feisty guard, and I'm not sure if Tyus is that type of guard. Tyus is going to get that offense set up. He makes smart plays. He's going to make good decisions and be that guy that shouldn't make too many mistakes. But you need somebody who's going to – you need two guys out there. Honestly, you need two guys out there that's honestly, in a sense, like how Draymond is for the Warriors. So you need another guy out there because those three can score, with no problem. But the touches is the problem. Devin Booker is going to get his shots because it seems like he's been there the longest. It feels like his team. Kevin Durant doesn't necessarily need as many shots. He's just an efficient scorer, so he's always going to get his buckets. And if he's hot, you might it doesn't make sense not to give him the ball. He's a 7-foot monster. Why would you not give him the ball at that point? So Bradley Beal is the guy that's going to honestly just have to sacrifice. He's going to have to play the Ray Allen role and just become a guy, just like how Ray Allen with the Bucks in Seattle, how he had to, he was handling the ball. If you look at old highlights, dunking on people, doing everything. And Bradley Beal wasn't up to that level. But as a shooter, and again, Ray Allen was a better shooter, just if you look at it career-wise. But Bradley Beal is still a very good shooter. So Bradley Beal is going to have to work on just honestly spot up shoot, but become a dead eye. Don't really, in a sense, like a Klay Thompson role, where you don't need as many dribbles, but is that the type of player he is? Can he convert his game to be a shooter instead of being a scorer? That it's the mindset. And you don't necessarily, and not necessarily saying he doesn't have to dribble the ball at all, because Ray Allen still dribbled the ball when he was with the Celtics. But just know you can come off curls, you can come off back screens now, and slips, everything. But your job is to hit open threes, and that's what made Grayson Allen I forgot about Grayson too. That was what made Grayson Allen really good in their lineup as well, because Grayson was shooting, I want to say shot 45% from three. And you have somebody like that, honestly looking back on it, if you knew they was going to get Grayson, I'm not sure if they would have got Brad Beal. They probably would have tried for somebody else. Because they needed, I don't know if you can get a center in today's market, and the type of center, honestly, that I would want if I can't, because obviously you're not getting Jokic, you're not getting Embiid, you're not getting a center like that. You probably could have got Miles Turner at a time, but I don't think the Pacers are going to do that now. But I would try to get somebody like a Jared Allen, a name that's not widely mentioned, like a Jericho Sims. I want a center who was in the DeAndre Jordan type mold. They can catch lobs, they're high flyers, and they'll go dunk the ball, and they're able to block shots. That's the type of centers that I want. So, like everybody made fun of JaVale McGee, Shaq started it, but when you really look, when he went to the Golden State Warriors and won those championships, and I know the first championship they had Bogut. I'm not sure if the second one they did. I don't think they had Bogut then. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But you can see JaVale's impact, especially when you come down in that post, because he's looking to block shots. And that's just, as a rim protector and as a guard coming in there, you have to change your shot or you have to think about coming in there. I know I mentioned Jericho Sims. I'm not sure if the Knicks will get off of him, just because I'm not sure if he can crack that lineup. But I feel like with the Suns he could. Bol, he's just too thin. And he's too thin, and I don't know if he wants to play defense. He wants to be a guard, but the problem is he's 7'3". And so he needs to, if he could be efficient. But the thing is, when I look at some of his efficiency metrics, Bol, it's actually really good. And I know Rashad McCants, he vouches for him a lot, saying he doesn't really get an opportunity. But there has to be things that he's doing, because he should have got an opportunity. To be a 7'3" guy, honestly, just being honest, should have been like Wemby. He really should have been like Wemby. And for him to fall, I don't think he fell solely for the foot injury that he had, because somebody would have still took him late in the first round. The work ethic thing that is popped up there must be some truth behind it, because it doesn't make any sense how talented he is, and it doesn't seem like he's getting any improved like playing time. Because I still remember when the Nuggets put out, and I want to say it was during the bubble, when they put up that crazy lineup where Nicole was playing point. I think Jeremy Grant was a 2, Paul Millsap was a 4, Bol was out there, and I can't remember if it was like a Miles Plumlee or somebody else, but they basically 6'8" and up lineup. But you see how special Bol. I think anybody that like sees it, it's like you can see how special Bol could become, but something's not clicking, and it's tough because after you go to so many different places, then you get that tag stuck with you, no matter if you are working or not, which does suck at the end of the day, because if he is working hard and it's just not working out, it's just not working out, and he's just not that type of guy. But I feel like he has traits to be a special type of player, because the way his body is, just being slender, I would put him at the 4 and just be a 7'3" similar to how Wemby is a 7'5", 4 4-man. But yeah, because I wouldn't want him playing against people like Joel Embiid, Jokic, big bodies, Nurkic. Oh, this sun-centered Nurkic. I knew it would come back to me. But I wouldn't want him playing against people like that, because those are the type of people that get hurt against. Yeah, he needs to play against people, because the 4-men in the NBA now, they're not 6'10" anymore. Not most of them anyway. Say, unless you play somebody like the Timberwolves, where they have Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy. But at the same time, even in that situation, Karl-Anthony Towns plays outside. So it's not necessarily, and another thing on him, Karl-Anthony Towns, I remember when he was at Kentucky, he would play in the post most of the time. So, yeah, I think I definitely would put him at the 4. It's just how the game is changing, because you could tell he's able to shoot the 3. He's able to put the ball on the floor. It's just something, it must be something he's not showing. And I guess it would be defense if I had to take a guess. Because a lot of coaches, I'm pretty sure the mistakes on offense, especially if you're talented, as long as it's not constant turnovers, I think they can adjust for that. I think it's the defensive mistakes, because for you to be 7'3" and you're not blocking shots, you're not getting rebounds, and I don't see him being a big rebounder, somebody like similar to like Chet. Not a big rebounder, but Chet's a shot blocker, as he should be. 7 foot, 7'1", should be a shot blocker, and he shoots perimeter shots as well. That is what Bol is supposed to be. But I'm not sure if he'll ever reach his full potential, and that's sad to say, because he has all the tools. All right, but let's get off Bol. Getting back to this starting 3. Kevin Durant doesn't need to change how he plays. He's an all-time great. We know what he does. That's the one guy. You get him the ball. You don't make Kevin Durant go to the wing. You don't make Kevin Durant set screens and then flare out. That's not him. You give Kevin Durant the ball when he wants the ball. Devin Booker has shown that, and especially in the Olympics, he showed that he can do multiple things. And he knows how to play a role, because at Kentucky he played a role. Now, I know that was a long time ago at this point, but still, he was able to do it. He had to play a back seat, because he was on that same team Karl-Anthony Towns was on. And I think it was the Harrison twins, if I remember right. But Devin Booker knows how to play a role. Would I want him to play a spot-up role on this team and make Bradley the number 2? No, I would not. I would rather Devin Booker bring up the ball, just with the lineup they currently have. And then, of course, Tyus will bring it up in certain situations. And same, Brad will bring it up in certain situations. But I think Brad probably needs to, and it's kind of late in the summer at this point. They're probably starting training camp here later in this month. But Brad, I would say, probably needs to take a more Ray Allen, Klay Thompson approach to his game and really work on that three and become deadly from there. Be sort of like how Grayson Allen was for the team earlier in the year before he got hurt. Yeah, so I think if that were to happen, that it would change their offense and it would make it better because the ball wouldn't be sticking so much because you have Devin Booker or it wouldn't be, you wouldn't feel pressure that you had to get Brad so many touches because you're like, okay, Brad needs to dribble the ball some, so if Brad can get used to catching and shooting, and I know he hasn't really had to do that. He probably did it in Washington when he first got there because John Wall would have definitely been the primary ball handler. But yeah, he would be the guy that needs to sacrifice. Sort of like how Chris Bosh had to learn how to, spot up, shoot, and do some dirty work. Yeah, Brad would have to do that. Now I don't know if Brad would be the guy to pick up a guy 94 feet. I don't know if Brad's that type of guy, and I don't know if I would want him doing that. I would want somebody like Tyus to do that. So if Tyus does that, but the thing is, our lineup can't be that small because wouldn't want Devin Booker at the 3 unless it's against a small lineup. Yeah, because I don't need him playing against guys that are 6'8", 6'9". Yeah, and then that moves Kevin Durant to the 4. Nurkic stays at the 5. But in the perfect world, I'm pretty sure they would prefer Bol to start playing defense, to put him at the 5, and now you can spread the court all the way around. And then you wouldn't have to really worry about it. But I don't see Bol ever becoming a big rebounder just because of his frame. So they would probably have to have somebody like Nurkic. But my suggestion would be to get a guy that is a big, that is a rim runner, and that is a high flyer because they're easy buckets. It happens all the time. Luka showed you that with Derek Lively, and then when he got Gafford, he was doing the same thing. You get guys like that who are easy rim runners, they block shots, and they're very efficient when they get around the rim. I would say it solves a lot of problems because you don't have to worry about dumping the ball down to them. So like somebody like Nurkic is, big-footed, he's slow, and he's going to want his post touches as well because Nurkic is probably close to 300. Just keeping it real. So he's going to want his touches, and he's bigger than most guys, so he's probably going to score 12, 13 points a game on average if I had to take a guess with some of his touches and some of the offensive rebounds he'll get. But I would prefer a guy in the other mold, and that's why I mentioned Jericho Sims because off the top of my head, that's a guy I feel like you would be able to get in a trade for cheap if New York was willing to do it. Yeah, that's somebody I would think because I know he's a high flyer. I'm not sure how good of a rebounder he is, but I know he's efficient around that rim. I don't think they would be able to afford Jared Allen, and Jared Allen just got paid. I would have to look at the other big men in the league to think about it. Gafford was a really good get for the Mavericks because now you have two guys like you had Lively and you had Gafford. Get somebody like that, and it makes it easy. It makes it easier, especially in the pick and roll. Especially you have a dynamic guy in the pick and roll because they have to come up on somebody like Devin Booker. They have to come up on somebody like Kevin Durant. Quick, easy lob to the rim, and they go get it. That's what helped Chris Paul with the Clippers. I'll say you have Blake Griffin on one side, DeAndre Jordan on the other. Made things easy. So I think that's what they should do. I forgot that this topic was about EJ Liddell and I think Nasir Little, and kind of got off track. But hey, that's what we do here at the Insights. And I accidentally just closed out of something. I sure hope I don't need it later. All right. Third topic for today. LeBron James makes a bold claim about competing in track and field. Yeah, I saw that. I think, what was it? What I have in my notes here? It says LeBron James recently stated he could win a medal in the high jump or the long jump with preparation. Um, okay. So I'm assuming LeBron is talking about a time in his athletic peak. We'll take anywhere from 20 to 28. Let's take somewhere around those ages. Because he's 39 now. I don't want to really do the math, so I'm not. So let's just take anywhere from 20. So let's just say two Olympics in his 20s. Could he have competed if he had been doing this his entire life? I don't know. I don't know if there's any 6'8" people that do the long jump. I don't know if there's 6'8" people that do the high jump. I would assume so, but I'm not sure. But you know what we can do? We have a good old Google here, and that's what we can look this stuff up. 6'8" people that do well, actually, let's do this. The tallest person to ever do the long jump in the Olympics. Let's put that, because then it'll start giving me people like Wilt Chamberlain, and I don't want that either. Okay, there isn't much information, but we have somebody, Bob Burt. Well, no, I want to know how tall. Jeez. This thing about Google. It'll tell you how long they jump. That doesn't help me. Okay, forget it. Could LeBron? All right, let's do this. Could LeBron have done it if he had played basketball and then decided he wanted to do track and do the long jump and do the high jump? No, I'm telling you right now, he would not be able to do that. No matter how long he trained, he would look like Michael Jordan out there. You would look like a stiff that's trying to do the long jump, because you don't realize how detailed, and I know basketball is a different sport, but how detailed they are, and counting the amount of steps they would have to take to do the long jump, to do the high jump, to arch your back in a certain way. He wouldn't be able to be this heavy for either one. He would need to be, and he's 6'8", 6'9", and we're going to say a light day for him is 250. I'm pretty sure he would need to be closer to how Usain Bolt was 205 at 6'5". He probably would need to be 6'8", 215. And I don't think his body structure is like that. So I personally do not think, I don't think his body would be built for something like that. Yeah, he would, no matter how long he trained, if he had started with basketball and decided at 20, no, I'm gonna go in the Olympics. I'm gonna train for 4 years and do this. No, I think that's disrespectful to the people that actually do the event as well. Now, would he be able to put out a good effort? Maybe. Do I think so? No, I do not. And I think he would quickly find that out. Now, another aspect, if he did this ever since he was little, continued in high school, of course, I think he would be able to do it. I think he would have just an advantage, whether genetically. He's 6'8" and can jump. So if you train those muscles, you train how to get over the bar, how you have to bend your back to get over the bar. For the long jump, same thing. You have to arch your back in a way, because I think it's wherever your feet touch the sand first is where they count. So you have to learn how to fall forward in the long jump. Yeah, then maybe you have a shot. But I think, and it's the same thing I think with athletes across all sports, except for baseball. You think you're able to do it. Basketball players, they think they can play football. I think everybody understands how hard baseball is, that you can't play baseball. You take time off of baseball. Yeah, that's you might as well just end your career there. Yeah, because you can't see the ball like you used to. Yeah, because watching 90, I remember I played baseball growing up. Watching 90 miles per hour back then, able to time it, versus being able to do it now, I'm pretty sure I'd go in that batting cage and probably wouldn't hit anything for 10 minutes. If if that had 10 minutes worth of just straight fastballs coming, yeah, I doubt I hit anything. You don't realize how fast even 60 miles per hour is for the untrained eye. And 60 miles per hour in the major leagues is incredibly slow. I would say sometimes they don't hit it because they can't believe how slow it's going. Yeah, because they have to sit back and just wait. They're expecting something 80, anywhere from 85 to 100. Let's just say that. So, do I think he could have crossed over and did a Michael Jordan? No, there's no way. No way he would have ever been able to do that. He did it ever since he was little. He might have medaled, but you do realize there's only 3 medals, and that means you would have to basically beat out everyone else. He would honestly have to show that he is close right now to start that debate. There would be no other justification for it. Because if you truly think about it, it is very hard to be an athlete at that type of level on any sport. Basketball, baseball, football, track and field, soccer. You have to train for so long. You can't just train in 4 years and become good at something. Think about it. That from 4 to 8, when kids play basketball, they don't just get good. From 12 to 16, they might get good, but they're still not as good as they would be at 22. It takes years. It takes time. Yeah, so my answer is going to be no. There's no way he'd be able to do that. All right, have 2 more bullet points for tonight. And this one I found fun. There was an article I found. It ranks the 20 best prospects since LeBron. Take a look at this list. And it's an article I found. It's actually back in 2023, so it might need some updating. But let's move And we should have known something when Mark Cuban offered to give us a first. And we just knew he stole the deal because we was like, we got Trae Young. He's supposed to be the next Steph Curry. So this is easy. And we get an extra one for next year. Yeah, we should have known something was up. We should have known. We should have did some extra scouting. But everybody was happy at the time because we felt Trae was a fit here. And Luka was a fit in Dallas because of Dirk. So that's what everybody was thinking. Yeah, I don't know if Luka. I'm sure Luka would have liked it here. I'm sure he would have. But I think he went to the right place. Trae, same with Trae. They went to the right place. But we should have known something was wrong when Mark Cuban was willing to give us his next year's first. And it wasn't like they were good the next year either. He just knew Luka, how special Luka was, and it turns out Luka is a very special player. MVP candidate every year. I think first team All NBA either the past 4 or 5 years. Yeah, we messed up. Let's just put it like that. We messed up. Okay, but I think Luka. Oh wow, that was a rant on Luka, but yeah, Luka. I'm gonna go say he should be higher. Ja. So Ja. Okay, so I remember I had a coworker and shout out to Chris, but he was telling me about Ja Morant because they had played Alabama, and I was looking on draft boards. I remember he was in the second round at the time. And he was telling me, nah, we just played an NBA player. And he was telling me, how high a pick is he? And I was like, it looks like he's in the second round. Doesn't look like he's that much of anything, to be honest with you. And he kept telling me that can't be true. And sure enough, you look towards the end of the season, he shot up draft boards immediately as soon as they saw the talent. Now, as far as hype, I want to say there was buzz around him, but it couldn't be nowhere near as high as Zion. I wouldn't even put him higher than John Wall. There was hype around him, but it wasn't. And then as a draft prospect too, you didn't really know what you were getting because you knew he didn't shoot necessarily that well, but you knew he could get to the basket. But you knew he was thin as well, so you didn't know if he would be able to take that contact day in, day out. But, yeah, he was a good prospect. Jason Tatum, very good prospect coming out. Hype, clearly the hype wasn't necessarily behind him, obviously, for him to go to number 3. But as far as a prospect profile, he did everything he wanted because he could shoot. We knew he could shoot. He could score. And he had good size on him. So, Chet Holmgren, now, he had hype because, for me anyway, because of the Olympics for the under 18. I'm not sure if he did the 19 one, but the under 18 Olympics because he had to play Wembanyama. And that's when you realize how good Chet was. So I think Chet needs to be higher on this list. I think it's hard because you're trying to evaluate people in the past and do it based on now. But I think Chet had a little bit more hype than to be number 16 and a better draft prospect profile. Andrew Wiggins should be a lot higher on this list. Andrew Wiggins should be, I would say, over Greg Oden, to be just being honest. The prospect profile on him, he was supposed to be the next guy. I remember that. So I don't understand how he's highest. I'm looking at the ranking. Highest was 15 and lowest was unranked. As a draft prospect, they were saying he could do everything because he was supposed to be the guy that did the 720. He was like he could do a 720 as well. He's supposed to have like a 46-inch vert. He just didn't show it. He was able to score. He was able to shoot. He's able to do everything. I want to say came in the league. He averaged, if he didn't average 20, averaged close to 20 coming in into the league. The thing with Wiggs is his motor. Honestly, that was the only thing with him, his motor. I think if he had not any motor, because obviously he has a motor, he's in the NBA, he's able to score 20 points a game. But I think there's just some guys you can tell, guys that are just going to keep pushing, keep going, and he doesn't necessarily have that. But I think as far as a draft prospect and the hype behind Andrew Wiggins, it should be a lot higher than 17. He had a lot of hype. Karl-Anthony Towns had a decent amount of hype as well. But his team, the team he played on, just had hype. Because that Kentucky team, I want to say they were 38-0 at the time before they lost that game. I forget the team they lost to. It might have been Wisconsin, if I remember right. But he definitely had a lot of hype behind him. But I still don't think it was to the levels. I don't want us to keep scrolling back up the list. Let's see, Scoot. Scoot did have hype. Scoot, would he have had more hype than Carl? They kept talking. The thing was, they kept talking about Scoot for 2 years because they was like, oh man, this G League player who's not even NBA eligible yet, who is dominating in the G League. It was like, wait, who is this? Oh, it's Scoot. He's the next Russell Westbrook. Well, if he's the next Russell Westbrook, we need to go ahead and get him. Now, in all honesty, he still might be. Because if you look, and I think I keep saying this across, I'm about to say all platforms, but people I talk to. Because if you really look behind the numbers and the play styles, they play very similar. They don't necessarily shoot the most efficient shots. First years, now Scoot's percentage was way worse than Russ. And the Russ, I believe, shot 39% his first year. But I think Scoot will be okay. I think if I had a dynasty basketball, wow, that made me have thought of a dynasty basketball league. I wonder if that's the thing. If I had a dynasty basketball league, I think I would try to go get Scoot. Just because I think he's going to get a big opportunity this year. They're already trying to trade Anthony Simons. They should be trying to trade Jeremy Grant. So, yeah. I think Scoot had a good amount of hype as well. Okay, so Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker should be a lot higher on this list. Both of these guys had so much hype. He was supposed to be the next guy to Simeon. The next guy since Derrick Rose. I remember the stories they were talking about him. I remember Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker had so much hype that I remember on Bleacher Report, I'm not sure if they still have it, they had a thing where you could follow players. Though they were the first two I actually was like, let me follow them. I just want to track their careers. And I should have been, I'm not sure who I should have followed because Joel Embiid didn't play the first 2 years either. So, but those two had so much hype behind them. I remember it. And they were so good. They were good. And I think to me, Jabari was better than Andrew Wiggins in college. Andrew just had just better, I would say, intangibles because on the defense, you knew on the defensive end and as far as athletic ability, Wiggs was better. But as far as just ball handling, shot creation, Jabari was definitely better. And he had a lot of hype. Now, this thing does say tied for 20. So who is tied with him? Joel Embiid. I don't agree with the Joel Embiid. As a draft prospect, maybe, yeah. But when you start throwing hype in there, he was on there. I'm reading here they said they was comparing to Hakeem and David Robinson. Yeah, but I don't remember him. I remember him being good, and towards the end of the season, they were like, "Oh, this is this guy that can really score the basketball, can really jump," because he was really thin at the time, from what I remember. But I don't remember Joel getting all that type of hype or being considered this amazing draft prospect because he would have, and I know he was hurt, but he still would have went number one. That's why I say Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be that guy. Yeah, him and Jabari Parker. I remember. I want to say, hopefully they got another person. Yeah, I don't remember Joel Embiid being. They have what made him special. Of course, what made him special, but I think even with his foot injury, he still would have went number one. Yeah, because even with a foot injury, if I have a bad pick, I'm gonna go get the best player regardless, if they have a foot injury or not. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think his hype was as big as they're making it out to be. But that was a fun little exercise to go through, to be honest with you. Let me put it back on the main screen so y'all can see my face. But yeah, those top 20, they said that was the top 20 draft prospects since LeBron. I would probably want to look at the number one picks in the past 20 years. Just to see. I'm trying to think if I can think of somebody off the top of my head. Because this year, who was the number one pick this year? No, this year would be excluded from everything. This class had no hype whatsoever. And I hope they don't come back in 20 years and try to act like they did. This class had no hype. We didn't even know who the number one pick was. And, of course, the Atlanta Hawks, we have the number one pick when nobody knows. Reese O'Shea, I really hope you're good. I really do. But, and I would say learn how to catch and shoot. We're playing with Trey. But yeah, off the top of my head, I can't think of. I think they tried to get all the top number one picks on that list. Kevin Durant to me should be higher on that list. Andrew Wiggins and Jabari Parker definitely should be higher. I don't know if Joel Embiid should be tied with Jabari Parker at all. Me personally, just thinking about it. All right, last thing on the docket. We're going to talk a little bit of Victor. He was our number one draft prospect. And we'll talk about his defensive impact and potential challenges. He's going to be a defensive force every year he's in the league. Let's think about it. Yao was 7'5", 7'6", 300, probably 300 plus to be honest, and probably still blocked a ton of shots. He wasn't. I don't think Yao was necessarily a big rebounder. If I remember correctly, I'm about to actually look it up. I don't remember him being even though how big he was. Yeah, because for his career he averaged a little over 9 rebounds a game. Yeah, I don't remember him being I was going to say he only averaged 10 rebounds in a season twice. So, Victor should be better than that. Because Victor's more athletic. I think everybody is scared because big men and feet. Because when the feet issues come, that's basically their career. So I think, and Victor does a good job. I liked hearing him say when somebody asked him, is he going to put on more weight? No, I just need to add strength, flexibility. I don't need to put on weight. I like that because I think that messes up a lot of big men. You see Joel Embiid. Now, it does still make him dominant, but somebody like Joel Embiid, for instance, if you look at him at Kansas versus how he looks now, and of course, you're going to naturally put on weight. You know, you're growing up, you're becoming a man. You're obviously going to put on weight. But Joel probably put on probably like 80 pounds, it looked like. Because at Kansas, what was Joel's weight at Kansas? It had to be, it looked like it was 220. Let's say 240, but it looked like 220. Let's see, Kansas. I wonder if I can find it. Kansas weight. Yeah, it's just give me Philadelphia 76ers. I'm going to try to see if I can look at. Oh, they had him. It's saying 250. So maybe he's 7 foot. So I'm not sure. But he didn't look like he was 250. I'll just say that. But somebody like Wembanyama, to me, doesn't need to put on weight because he has a shot. Because the thing is, when you put on weight, and then of course it'd be muscle in his instance. You don't want to mess up your shot too much. I remember Kobe Bryant talking about that quite a bit, and and the reason bulking up the upper body is not necessarily the best thing. It messes your shot up, and the reason it does because when you're lifting weights, of course you're getting stronger, but now you can't feel the ball as much. The touch isn't there. So calisthenics honestly is probably better. Yeah, whatever Steph Curry's doing, that's what you should be doing. That's what I would say. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson really doesn't have muscle tone like that. Somebody like Steph Curry, that's what I would suggest. Whatever his upper body workout is. But the flexibility of the things he does for his feet, the mobility, you don't want to lose that from somebody like him. I want him to be able to still move and jump. And I think that's what happened to Porzingis. I know the injuries happened, but he bulked up. And I think that's what partially caused some of the injuries. And I think that's where they mess up some of the big men, just being honest. Because first off, they're not naturally that big. Somebody like Shaq, who's naturally that big, yeah, let me say him adding 30 pounds, not going to kill him. It'll make him slower, but it's not going to necessarily damage his whole career. It's when Shaq gained 100 pounds. 100 pounds, that's what probably did it for him. But yeah, when you add too much weight on these guys, and I was mentioning Giannis a second ago because I remember seeing a video of Giannis' shot when he first entered the league versus how his shot looks now. And it's because of the muscle he has. So too much muscle in basketball could be a bad thing as well. And I want him just to stay versatile on the defensive end. I don't think, as long as he stays healthy, I honestly don't think that would be a problem. Wingspan's probably 8 foot, if I had to take a guess. So that's somebody, I think, offensively, once it clicks, and you could tell during the Olympics, in 4 years, he's going to be a massive problem for the U.S. And hopefully we don't have to play him before the championship game. That's all I have to say on that. Because all those young guys are going to come in hungry. So our guys, and we've already pissed off Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get them back in 2028. So we're going to have to figure this. We're going to figure out because he's going to be a 7'5" monster. And then Reece Sachet is 6'10", Sar 7'1", Rudy probably will be 36, 37, so he might be a non-factor. Offensively, Rudy's a non-factor anyway. But then you have Bilal Coulibaly. They had some other guys over there that I wasn't aware of. Yabusele will still be probably just be at 32 if I had to take a guess. So he'll still be a glue type of guy, play a Draymond type of role that can score a little bit. Yeah, but they're going to have a team, and those guys, especially overseas, they have like a set program. And the thing is, Victor had just came from overseas, really. So the play style was easy. For him, the rules are different. The way you can knock the ball off the rim, that's too easy for him. He's already at the rim. Yeah, that ball touched the rim and doesn't go in. Yeah, just swat every single last time. So he is going to be a problem, not only in the Olympics but in the league, because having a 7'5" guy, who I honestly don't think he jumps for real, unless he's blocking a shot at the rim. Because I'm pretty certain his head would be constantly over the rim. I think he's going to be a major problem coming up this year too, because usually players that come back from the Olympics come back better, just because they've been training with top guys, and it works for the overseas people as well. And then some guys overseas, for whatever reason, well, not for whatever reason, they have the ball in their hands more, so they can show what they can do, and that's why they can become a superstar for their Olympic team. But I don't know. I don't know if there's a prospect coming out. We need somebody like Zion. We need somebody like Ja. I don't know who else would, because all the other guys would be older. Steph would be almost 40, if not 40. Durant would be near 40. LeBron would be 44, 43. LeBron wouldn't be playing. I would assume. I need Paolo to work on his jump shot. Yeah, because the thing is, he could just sit in the paint if he wanted to. He could just sit in the paint, and they could just run a zone all game. So unless we have some deadly 3-point shooters that I don't see any right now, I see a lot of scores that we have. I don't see shooters, and so it makes me think: is Ja somebody? Because athletically, yes, he would need to play a Russell Westbrook type role in the Olympics. How Russ played 94 feet in the 2012 Olympics, just hounding a pest. He would need to play like that. But we need another guy that would be like a James Harden too. Could that be Ant? Could that be Tyrese will get more playing time the next Olympics, I would assume. Derek White should not be back. Just because of the talent we have. No disrespect to Derek White, but he should not be back. Drew Holiday, I'm not sure if this is his last Olympics, but I'm assuming he'll be 36, 37. So he'll probably be done if Drew's not already older. So he'll probably be done with the Olympics at that point, or should be. Yeah, we need an influx of talent. Somebody like Chet, I think somebody like Chet would be good to put on that Olympic team. Paolo will probably be on there. Somebody like, dare say Walker Kessler need to be on there. But we need another big, American big. Is Jared Allen American? Because if he is, somebody like him. Yeah. And then they already made Kyrie mad. So, but Kyrie would be 36 the next Olympics, so I'm not sure he would be even a good fit there. But we need our next influx of stars. Really, it's not the next influx of stars we need. We need these next guys to really push the old guard out. Because until they do that, nobody's going to be comfortable with them. It's like being a teacher at a new school and having a new class, but all the classmates know each other. So it's like they're looking at you like, do you know what you're talking about? Do you know what you're doing? And until you show them and show them, the viewer, we're not trusting it right now. And there's other countries, because even look at Serbia. They push us to the brink with only Jokic on that team. If we didn't have Steph, I don't think we get out that game. Somebody like LeBron, we don't have him. I doubt we have Joel Embiid next time. Anthony Davis, maybe. What will it be, about 34, 35? Yeah, somebody like Paul George. We need a Paul George type player. And the good thing is we have 4 years. So we could potentially find somebody. They're talking about Cooper Flagg. I hope Cooper Flagg is good. I really do. I hope he's good enough to make the Olympic team. Another 6'8" wing, but I don't trust it right now. The AJ, what was his name? I can't think of his last name. It's pretty hard to say. But I'm not sure if AJ's American or would even rep America. And I'm saying that just strictly off his last name. I don't know his family or anything like that. But yeah, I think we might be in trouble. Yeah, we might be in trouble. Because even in 2004, we didn't think we were in trouble. But now, in 2028, and let alone, it's in Los Angeles. So it's going to be here in the U.S. For the U.S. to lose in the U.S., oh, that'd be a travesty, man. It'd be a travesty. Okay, I always go on these tangents. I done forgot my main point. Let's talk about Victor. Victor is going to be a problem. So that's where this point came from. Victor is going to be a problem. MVPs. How many MVPs do I think Victor can win? I think he'll be like a Tim Duncan-esque style. But I would give him more than Tim. I would say 3. Because I don't think they'll give him his due respect. like how he should have been Defensive Player of the Year last year. But since he was on a losing team, but when you look at the metrics, or when people talk about the metrics, I believe they were saying they were number 1 defense when he was on the court, and they were number 30, or whatever the last place is in NBA, when he stepped off the court. So you tell me who the defensive player is. The defensive player is a guy you don't want to get switched on. You don't want Wemby on you. Because even if you beat him, even if you feel like you crossed him up, he can still get back and reach you and block it. He blocks jump shots constantly. It's not like he just blocks 1 or 2 jump shots and you're like, oh man, I can't believe Victor did that. Victor's probably blocked 30, 40 jump shots this year. So for me, he should have been Defensive Player of the Year. He's probably going to win it. For me, the NBA gets tired of rewarding the same player over and over again. But I honestly think he should win the award until somebody takes it from him. And I don't see how anybody would take it from him. Anthony Davis has a case, but it's hard when Victor Wembanyama plays defensively like an Anthony Davis, but he's 7'5". That's the problem giving it to somebody like Anthony Davis. And then offensively, he's similar to Anthony Davis as well. And then will probably have a better three-point shot, which will give him MVPs. Because you have to remember, he was only 20. This is 20-year-old season. What happens when he comes out and averages 25 and 12 next year? And averaging 3.5 blocks still. Yeah, those MVP type numbers. Now the thing is winning. He has Chris Paul on his team now. So now he has somebody that actually give him the ball. So he might actually average 28 points because Chris Paul is going to make the game so much easier for him. Those little lobs that he just have to go right to the rim. Yeah. When Victor's right under the rim and nobody's giving him the ball, he doesn't have to worry about that because Chris Paul is going to make sure that does not happen. They have a good young core. The other player I like on their team is Devin Vassell. Just looking at his stats, looking at his game, looking at the analytics. I was saying a while ago the Hawks should trade for him, but now knowing that the Spurs really like him, we're not getting him. So they could have a nice team. They'll probably be. Let's see. They were bad this year. They picked up, I think, 2 players. I forget if they shipped off 1, but I expect they'll be my dark horse. I have to look at their roster a little bit more, but as a hot take, they'll be my dark horse to make the. I'll say the playoffs. I won't even say play-in game. They'll be my dark horse, and I say that on the sole reason of having Chris Paul on that team. I think Chris Paul, just efficiency metric-wise, changes the outlook of that team. Because even this year, I think even a down year for him, efficiency-wise, he still was solid. So I think, even though I think Chris Paul's 38, I think he still has enough juice to make sure Wemby's good. And then Vassell will be good. He'll be able to catch and shoot, and score. And Chris Paul's just going to get him in the right spots. And he's just a pro, so he understands that. So if I had to put a dark horse, I will say, as far as playoff A seed, I'll say the Spurs. Because Victor's only going to get better. All they need around him is shooting. Because he can shoot himself. Because they put shooting around him, it's going to be, in about 3 years, I would want to play with somebody like Jimmy Butler. Let's round this story back around. Would he go to the Spurs? Because somebody like him was to go to the Spurs. Because Victor can shoot. Now, he didn't shoot that well this year, but if you look at Kevin Durant's stats, Kevin Durant didn't shoot good his first year either. Just heads up. You have somebody like Jimmy Butler, let's just say he doesn't come off that contract, or the Heat don't come off a contract. Would he go? Would he go to the Spurs? Would he go back home? He's from Texas. I'm not sure if he's from San Antonio, but I know he's from Texas. Would he go? Would he go to Texas and then be able to play with? Now Chris Paul would be 39 at that point, so I'm not sure how good Chris Paul would be. But you'd be able to play with Wemby, and that would be another tough guy that could score the ball as well. So I don't know, but I think Wemby's about to be very special. Wemby can set some records, and defensively, if he rebounds just a little better, cause he could obviously do that, but defensively, blocking shots is going to be Wembanyama's forte. And another thing about being Defensive Player of the Year, if you have to make a player turn around because you're at the basket, you are Defensive Player of the Year. It makes no sense. If I'm an NBA player, I know I have all tricks, tips to get to this basket and score. High level NBA player. If I see that man at the basket and I turn around, I'm a Defensive Player of the Year. My Defensive Player of the Year can't be getting choked out. I'm just playing. Just let me stop. All right, that's it. That's it for this live stream. For all the guys that's watching it later, because you want to watch my success at the beginning, it was like claiming existence now. Yeah, like and subscribe, and share the channel with your friends. Don't worry, I'm gonna continue to get better. I'm gonna add more things, get topics. We'll probably have graphics eventually. I gotta figure out these overlays. I've been reading up on them. So, all right. What do I say? Do I just say bye and then get out of here? Yeah, I feel like that's what I should do. All right. See y'all. Yeah, I probably should have figured out how to stop the stream. Oh, I have this wireless mouse. Forgot